Good afternoon. I am Diego Castro. Here are the latest stories at this hour. Senator Rodante Marcoleta is now detained at the new Quezon City Jail in Payatas. For the details, we have mobile journalist Jazz Paredes. Jazz, has the BJMP released a statement regarding the lawmakers' detention?
Yes, Checo, the Bureau of Jail Management and Technology has released a statement saying that they are confirming the commitment to the custody of Senator Rodante Marcoleta at the Quezon City Jail Male Dormitory this morning at around 10:49 a.m. This is pursuant to a commitment order issued by the Third Division of the Sandigan Bayan and for the violation of the Presidential Decree number 46. And with their statement, they have assured that no special treatment will be given to any PDL under the Bureau's custody. As of now, Diego, this is the only statement that they have given. We're still waiting if they will be giving updates or response on how if he will be isolated for a week. Because if you can recall, Diego, in an earlier interview with the director of the UPPGH, Dr. Gerardo Legaspi, he said that Senator Dante Marcoleta is recommended to be isolated for a week, but we don't know yet how this will be. Will he be on a separate cell, or will he be detained on a special facility within Quezon City Jail? We will be confirming how this will be for the detention of Senador Dante Marcoleta. Diego.
Okay, Jazz, you said for 1 week kailangan ma-isolate. No? Ano ba yung naging findings ng UPPGH na kailangan pa i-isolate si Senator Marcoleta? Hindi ba dinetermine na baka pwedeng magstay pa siya sa hospital?
Yes, Diego. No, just a quick recap sa nangyari the past few days. If you recall, he was arrested July 6. He first complained na yung kanyang pananikip ng dibdib at mataas din yung kanyang blood pressure, which is why he was admitted to the PNP General Hospital here at Camp Crame. In the initial findings, nung nauna niyang medical examinations, he was found na hypertensive, which was an underlying health condition of the senator. He also has the degenerative disc disease and mild pneumonia, which was treated through antibiotics, and they were confirming na he was already fit to be traveled, but kailangan niyo muna nga tapusin yung antibiotics niya until today, July 15. And with that, nagkaroon ng independent medical assessment kahapon with the UPPGH as its third-party hospital. We can say na hindi nagtugma yung findings, but dahil nga na-treat na yung kanyang yung medical condition niya, which is the mild pneumonia, from his first admit dito sa PNPGH, the UPPGH on their findings found na wala ng mild pneumonia ito si Senator dahil nga nakumpleto na rin niya yung round of antibiotics which will be used para nga dun sa paggamot sa kanyang mild pneumonia. Thus, the conclusion of the UPPGH, nag-agree yung team of doctors nila na nag-improve na yung kanyang medical condition, wala na rin siyang control na rin yung kanyang hypertension, which is why with that information, they concluded na fit na siya na hindi i-detain or hindi na siya manatili pa for continuous hospitalization at the PNPGH, which is why na-recommend na rin siya to be detained nga sa Quezon City Jail. Diego.
Okay, let's talk about his detention sa QC Jail. No? Will he be allowed visitors? Ano pa mga privileges meron siya? Because parang lumalabas sa mga report, yung lawyers niya flag condition sa jail na yan. Ano ba yung mga concern na yun?
Yes, Diego. Ito ang kampo ni Senador Dante Marcoleta has concerns regarding the state or yung condition ng facility because they are worried na baka maka-apekto nga daw ito sa kondisyon ni Senador Dante Marcoleta, itong kanyang mild pneumonia. But Associate Justice Carl Miranda assured na negative naman daw yung congestion within the Quezon City Jail and pwede namang magpatuloy yung pag-administer sa kanya ng medication. And he also said that the court will personally visit itong Quezon City Jail to check nga yung current condition. However, hindi pa natin alam kung ano na ba yung naging assessment nila after visiting the Quezon City Jail. But for now, we know na nadala na nga doon si Senador Dante Marcoleta. We just don't know yet, Diego, kung ano ba yung klase ng cell or facility na pinagdalhan sa kanya. At sa ngayon, hindi pa makumpirma sa atin ng BJMP yan regarding their concern. But what we know for now is under the BJMP rules regarding naman dun sa visitors, kung sino sa kanya pwedeng bisita, If he is treated the same as other PDLs, he will be allowed visitors naman, Diego. But under the rules na current meron tayo sa BGMP, only yung immediate family, legal counsel lamang yung pinapayagan na mag-visit. Just like any other PDL din na naka-detain sa Quezon City Jail sa Payatas. Diego.
Alright, ano ba ng comment this time on the ILG about yung detention ni Senator Marcoleta?
Yes, Diego. Itong ang DILG ay sinuportahan nga nila to the Bureau of Jail Management and Penology yung pagkumpirma nga ng commitment ni Senator Rodante Marcoleta sa New Quezon City Jail sa Payatas. And the DILG assured na ang DJMP will continue to uphold its mandate with professionalism, impartiality, and strict adherence to established rules and procedures, emphasizing that no person deprived of liberty under its custody will be accorded special treatment. So from this statement, we can assume that the DLG is saying na walang special treatment or walang special privileges nga na ibibigay dito kay Senador Rodante Marcoleta and the BJMP nga will uphold its duty nga sa pag-commit dito kay Senador Rodante Marcoleta. Diego.
Okay, what are the next steps ngayon sa kaso ni Senator Marcoleta ngayon na na-transfer na siya sa QC Jail?
Diego, for now, we know that he will be attending hearings for his plunder case and his next hearing will be scheduled na ischedule na ito ng Sandigan Bayan 3rd Division for August 10. However, ang Korte sinabi that it will first resolve Marcoleta's motion to quash the information charging him with plunder before setting any bail hearings for the case. And if we can recall, Diego, earlier din, aside from Senador Rodante Marcoleta, dumating na rin yung mga co-accused niya na sina dating Congressman Mike Defensor at mga negosyanteng sina Joseph Viray at Joseph Espiritu, and Aristotle Viray, and they also plead for a non-guilty plea. So we will be antabayanan natin yung mga susunod na hearings regarding this plea. But for now, we will be waiting for August 10 para doon sa hearing ng plunder sa Sandigan Bayan 3rd Division itong ni Senador Rodante Marcoleta along with his co-accused. Diego.
Thank you for that update, mobile journalist Jazz Paredes. In weather, Tropical Depression Josie has exited the Philippine area of responsibility. The remnant of that TD low pressure area, O7A, was last spotted 1,650 kilometers east of southeastern Luzon. Meantime, another LPA is being monitored outside PAR. It was last located 1,165 kilometers west-northwest of extreme northern Luzon. Pag-asa says both LPAs are unlikely to develop into a tropical depression within the next 24 hours. In the meantime, localized thunderstorms are expected to bring rains to Metro Manila and the rest of the country today. A series of powerful aftershocks is rocking the southern Philippines following the massive magnitude 7.8 earthquake of June 8, 2026. Mindanao was hit again in the last 24 hours by a magnitude 6 aftershock offshore of Sarangani, preceded by a magnitude 5.2 tremor in the same region and a magnitude 5.4 event. Shaking from these aftershocks continues to register at varying intensities across Glan, Malungon, and General Santos City. Trivox has logged over 8,500 aftershocks since the initial quake. The instability is hampering recovery efforts in General Santos City and Glan, where new cracks are opening on already damaged structures. In the Bicol region, a separate earthquake swarm is escalating. 54 tremors have hit Claveria, Masbate since Monday, July 13, capped by a sharp magnitude 5.2 event that was felt in Naga City. Disaster officials warn residents in both regions to stay out of damaged structures and watch out for landslides. And in case you missed it, here are some stories still making headlines this midweek. Mobile journalist Daniel Dayao reports.
The Department of Energy will be stricter on fuel price adjustments as the situation in the Middle East remains volatile. On Tuesday, July 14, most oil players again raised diesel prices by 4.60 per liter and gasoline by 1 peso per liter. Figures are within the upper band of the allowable range set by the DOE. Companies selling kerosene including Petron, Shell, and Sea Oil will increase prices by 2 pesos and 30 centavos per liter. If the oil markets remain volatile, the DOE will cap fuel price hikes and mandate mandate minimum rollbacks again. For weeks now, the Energy Department has been prescribing ranges, with the situation in the Middle East improving. President Marcos will fly to Singapore for a working visit from July 14 to 16. Marcos will meet the Singaporean Prime Minister Lawrence Wong to strengthen their country's ties on trade and investments, environment, health, regional, and global development. This is the president's 45th overseas trip since assuming power in 2022. Malacanang has distanced itself from the U.S. campaign against the International Criminal Court. Palace Press Officer Claire Castro said the Philippine government has nothing to do with policies of the United States. The statement follows the Trump administration's announcement of a government-wide campaign against what it called the ICC's threat to its sovereignty. The bid aims to prevent the foreign court from prosecuting American service members and government officials. Proposed measures include diplomatic efforts, visa restrictions, travel bans, and sanctions against ICC personnel and affiliated organizations.
As we speak, the ICC and its friends are waging a war against our country, not with bullets or missiles, but with statutes and compacts and the force of so-called international law. This administration will not sit by as the ICC and its allies seek to threaten our people.
The Philippines was a state party to the Rome Statute until former President Rodrigo Duterte withdrew the country from the treaty in 2019. Duterte is now detained in The Hague and will be tried in November over crimes against humanity charges linked to his drug war. But one expert says the Trump administration's pressure campaign won't affect Digong's upcoming trial.
Tingin ko hindi naman tayo apektado kasi una advantageous nga sa Amerika, no, na si former President Rodrigo Duterte being prosecuted kasi kung makabalik yung mga Dutertes, mga pro-China yung mga yan, no? And ang US naman, tignan mo talagang nagpapadala nga ng mga sundalo dito sa ating bansa para kontrahin yung ginagawa ng China to really expand its influence and its territorial claim within Asia, no? So tingin ko hindi nila masyadong pag-iinitan 'yan.
Meantime, 73-year-old American marine biologist Kent Carpenter was killed at his home in Negros Oriental on Sunday, July 12. 3 unidentified men forcibly entered his house at 11:30 p.m., with one of them shooting Carpenter in the head. As of this writing, the suspects remain at large, with motive yet to be established. Carpenter's 2005 study about the Verde Island Passage boosted the Philippines' standing in global marine science. He also provided expert written records when the Philippines brought to China to the arbitrary court, eventually ruling that the West Philippine Sea is a maritime territory of Manila. The National Bureau of Investigation will be looking into alleged anomalies in the 2019 Southeast Asian Games. NBI Director Melvin Matibag says the Bureau will revisit the sports complex in New Clark City, Tarlac, as well as the cauldron that was used for the torch lighting. It was Senator Alan Peter Cayetano who served as chairman of the Philippine Southeast Asian Games Organizing Committee.
Nabayaran ng mabilisan na 10 billion yung halaga, congressional insertion. So sisilipin namin to.
And President Marcos has sworn in Dr. Britanio Pujalte Jr. as new health secretary. Pujalte replaced resigned DOH chief Ted Herbosa, who stepped down due to health reasons. Before entering the cabinet, Pujalte headed the Philippine Orthopedic Center since 2014. Kapatid Mobile Journal Daniel Dayao, we are One News.
The UAAP board has granted Ateneo de Manila University a 9-day extension to submit its official findings regarding a tragic team-building incident. The extension allows Ateneo's independent fact-finding body to complete its report on the drowning of student-athletes Divine Adili and Rene Baterbonia. The said incident occurred in a resort 37 days ago. Meanwhile, all preventive suspensions remain in effect. All coaches present during the incident remain barred from UAAP activities. This comes as the NBI and CIDG recommended criminal charges against 12 individuals, including resigned men's basketball head coach Tab Baldwin. Ateneo is reportedly evaluating a possible total withdrawal from UAAP Season 89. In entertainment, actress Bea Alonzo and businessman Vincent Co have reportedly tied the knot in an intimate civil wedding in Makati. Entertainment reporter Oji Diaz claims the ceremony was held Monday night at Makati City Hall with only a few guests present. The reported wedding comes after months of speculation that the couple had called off their planned ceremony in Spain. Alonso and Co. have yet to publicly confirm the marriage. In the meantime, her lawyer, Attorney Lorna Kapunan, said she has no personal knowledge of the alleged wedding, but shared a message for Bea and women in general.
I wish you well, Bea. People are asking, did I make the prenuptial agreement? Actually, I wish I did. I really have no personal knowledge, but, well, putting on my lawyer's hat, I advise all of you girls here, don't get married.
Now, of course, counsel for prosecutors Lorna Kapunan had other things in mind than weddings. A good portion of her statements last night focused on the prosecution's decision not to present any more OVP Chief of Staff Zuleika Lopez and one other witness. That's at least for Article 4 or assassination plot, part of the historic trial.
Had we been able to present Attorney Zuleika Lopez, she would have proven three things, or we would want to have proven three things. First, that she was personally present inside that detention center when the Vice President uttered the video. Secondly, our second purpose was that Attorney Zuleika Lopez was not only present, but so were other media personnel present there who heard the utterances of the Vice President. And lastly, we would have offered Attorney Zuleika Lopez to Zuleika Lopez to confirm the authenticity and the provenance of that video.
Let's now bring in mobile journalist Amy Atienza for more on this development. Amy, go ahead.
Yes, Diego, narinig na nga natin no, doon sa naging pahayag din ni Prosecution Counsel, Attorney Lorna Kapunan, na ito ngang pagpepresenta sa witnesses na sina Attorney Zuleika Lopez at Captain Belinda Bello ay hindi na nga muna nila itutuloy dahil nga para sa kanila ay naging sapat naman na yung testimonya at yung mga naratibong isiniwalat dito ni NBI Senior Agent John Mark Calilong at NBI BARM Regional Director Attorney Jeremy Lotok sa pag-imbestiga nga din dito pagdating sa grave threats na ibinigay ni Vice President Sara Duterte kay Pangulong Bongbong Marcos, First Lady Liza Marcos at former House Speaker Martin Romualdez. Kanina nagsagawa na rin no ng press conference itong mismong House prosecutors, kasama na dyan si Representative Isabel Zamora at si legal spokesperson Attorney Jay Tolosa at si prosecution spokesperson Representative Zia Alonto Adyong. At nasabi nila dito no sa press conference na matagal-tagal na nila ding napapag-usapan ito. Actually, prior to yesterday, ay nagkakaroon na din sila ng konting usapin tungkol nga dito sa pag-drop or sa pag-withdraw para nga kay Lopez at kay Bello. Pero yun nga lang din, sabi nila, kinailangan pa rin nila tingnan mismo yung magiging takbo. Pero nakita nila doon sa cross-examination, sa redirect examination at sa cross-examination noon na sapat na yung mga ibinahagi mismo ni NBI Regional Director Lotok pagdating nga doon sa grave threats. Nakita na raw naman kasi na authentic yung video press conference ni Vice President Sara Duterte kung saan nandoon nga din mismo si Attorney Zuleika Lopez sa loob ng detention center. Sa ngayon, ang abangan natin, no, Diego, ay yung oral arguments nga na gagawin mismo ng prosecution maging ng defense pagdating naman dun sa motion para sa tax records at bank records ni VP Sara.
Alright, well, mamaya nga, no, before we move on to other issues, let's talk about Attorney Zuleika, no? She's indeed dropped nga for Article 4 by the prosecution. But ang tanong dito, will they bring her back for any other articles of impeachment that will be presented later on?
Yes, Diego, nakita pa rin naman natin no, doon nga din sa pre-trial order na ando naman yung pangalan ni Attorney Zulaika Lopez. At meron naman daw reservation din itong prosecution to add more witnesses in the coming days of the trial. So possible na makita pa rin naman no, si Attorney Zulaika pagdating nga dito sa impeachment trial ni Vice President Sara Duterte dahil meron pa namang 3 remaining articles of impeachment no, na nais nga ring matalakay mismo ng prosecution, kabilang na dyan yung sa unexplained wealth, sa confidential funds, pati doon sa bribery. So yun yung mga abangan din natin na developments. If they feel the need to subpoena Attorney Zulaika Lopez once more to testify for a particular article of impeachment, ay kaya naman daw gawin yan ng prosecution.
Alright, sa oral arguments mamaya, Amy, sino ang mag-represent sa prosecution?
Sa ngayon, wala pa silang confirmation, no? Ayaw pa nilang magbigay din ng possible name para nga mag-represent for the side of the prosecution. Though we have heard reports na ito daw ay magiging si Representative Chel Jokno, pero they have neither denied nor confirmed on that particular information. Abangan na lang din daw kung ano nga yung magiging takbo din dito sa impeachment trial, lalo na dahil mamaya, bukod doon sa oral arguments, ay hintayin din natin kung ano pa nga ba yung nais pang ipasabpina nitong prosecution dahil bukod kay NBI Director Melvin Matibag, hintayin pa natin kung sino pa yung possible witnesses na nais i-present ng prosecution in the days to come.
Well, alam natin, meron din all senators caucus after, no, and the oral arguments. Pero ano ba ang documents in question today?
Yes, dito sa sasagawang oral arguments na 2 particular motions ngayon nais din gawin ng prosecution. Una dyan ay doon sa tax records ni Vice President Sara Duterte at ng asawa niyang si Attorney Man Scarpio na nakapaloob doon mismo sa green box na ipinasa at una nating nakita sa isang pagdinig ng House Justice Committee galing sa Bureau of Internal Revenue na ngayon ay binalik na nga muna sa BIR na kinakailangan pang isabpina at ngayon ay kinakailangan na rin pag-usapan no, pagdating dito sa korte ng impeachment. Ang sunod naman dyan ay yung sa bank records and the AMLAC records ni Vice President Sara Duterte dahil kung babalikan ulit no, Diego, yung naging pagdinig din ng Justice Committee sa House of Representatives ay naging essential yung mga dokumentong ito para nga din maipakita at mapatunayan na totoo yung mga nakapaloob doon sa articles of impeachment.
Alright, thank you for that report, mobile journalist Amy Atienza. At this point, we also bring in mobile journalist Arles de los Santos for the side of VP Duterte's defense team. Arles, ano ang reaction ng defense sa prosecution na nag-skip na ng 2 witnesses for Article 4?
Diego, nagulat ang kampo ng depensa sa naging hakbang ng prosekusyon na hindi na nga ipresenta bilang witness ang Chief of Staff ng Office of the Vice President na si Attorney Zulaika Lopez maging ang opisyal mula sa House of Representatives na si Captain Belinda Bello. No? Iginagalang nila yan no? At maging ang desisyon ng prosekusyon no? Dahil noted naman daw no? At nakarinig natin na may punto din si Attorney Lorna Capuna na nagsabi dito na baka daw maging redundant o repetitive yung magiging testimonya nito, no? Kabukod dyan, syempre, sabi nila, tila wala raw magagawa, no? So that's okay with them. And nakadepende na raw sa Senate Impeachment Court kung ano yung magiging desisyon nito doon sa sinabi ng prosekusyon na for them, napatayo na nila yung kanilang alegasyon na nagsagawa or nagkaroon ng grave threats umano si Vice President Sara Duterte kay Pangulong Bongbong Marcos at sa pamilya nito.
Alright, mamaya we have yung oral arguments no, ng mga both camps. No? And we asked kanina, Amy, kung sino yung possible magli-lead sa prosecution. Wala pang official. Ang usap-usapan daw baka si Congressman Chel Jokno. Sa defense ba, sino ang magli-lead sa arguments?
Sinubukan din natin yan, Diego, kunin kagabi pa lamang no, mula kay Attorney Michael Poe, ang spokesperson ng defense team ni Vice President Sara Duterte, pero hindi rin nila binigay yung pangalan ng abogado na kakatawan sa bise mamaya. No? Ayon sa kanila, ayaw daw nilang matelegraph yung kanilang gagawing hakbang. No? At ayan na nga yung kanilang nagiging tugon. No? So haabangan na lang natin kung paano mangyayari yung oral arguments mamaya at kung ano yung magiging posisyon nila. Pero Diego, nakita na natin yung tugon ng kampo ni Vice President Sara Duterte patungkol dito sa BIR box, no, na kung saan sinasabi nga nito na hindi umano sakop ng pagiging Vice President ni VP Sara yung ilan sa mga kino-question ng Senate Impeachment Court, no. Nandiyan nakita natin magiging paglabag din daw sa karapatan ng bise kung bubuksan yung mga tax records niya, no. Syempre kailangan daw may due process bilang requirement para nga mabuksan yung mga tax records, bank records at AMLAC records, sang-ayon na rin sa ilang mga umiiral na batas sa bansa.
Alright, ano pa ang magiging expectation today with regards to how long the impeachment trial will be? Kasi oral arguments today, walang mga witnesses ipe-present, diba? So will we expect na aabot to ng gabi, mga 7 or 8 like before? Kasi meron pa silang all senators caucus after
Ang alam ko, Diego, sa tansya nasa 5 p.m. or 6 p.m. ang pinaka-latest, no, na mangyayaring oral arguments ngayon. Pero syempre, lahat yan ay dependent pa din sa magiging palitan ng ating senator judges. Maging yung magiging pagbasa ng posisyon ng depensa at ng prosekusyon kung dapat nga bang buksan, no? Kasi hindi lang isang record, Diego, yung hinihingi dito na buksan Yung AMLAC records, yung umano'y mga labas-pasok na pera sa mga bangko ni VP Sara, maging ng asawa nito na si Atty. Manasseh Scarpio. Then yung pangalawa naman ay yung BIR records nito, no? At syempre yung bank records nito. So kailangan pa na makuha ang kanilang mga tugon dyan at ano-ano nga yung mga basehan ng bawat kampo.
Well, Arles, may tugon na ba si Senate President Win Gatchalian tsaka si Presiding Officer Senator Chis Escudero about yung magiging, kasi they were debating yesterday whether tomorrow kailangan magkaroon na ng desisyon ang impeachment court kung papayagan ba yung request na yan, no, yung sa bank records, or may possibility na Monday pa ang desisyon?
Wala pa tayong naririnig patungkol dyan, Diego, mula kay Senate President Win Gatchalian at maging kay Presiding Officer Chis Escudero. Lahat yan ay so far nakadepende pa sa oral arguments na mangyayari mamaya. Though, the way we see it, baka pagbotohan yan, no, ng senator judges kung papayagan nga ba ito o hindi. Pero may nauna na kasing pahayag si Senator Lacson, no, Senator Judge Lacson, na baka daw kailanganin yung pag-okay ni Pangulong Bongbong Marcos para nga mabuksan itong BIR box na ito, no, kasi siya din yung nasa taas ng executive pagdating sa Department of Finance at maging sa BIR at other related government agencies.
Okay, thank you for that report, mobile journalist Arles de los Santos. On to another story. Hobbyists of RC crawlers or remote-controlled off-road vehicles can now gather daily inside the Maybunga Rainforest Park in Pasig. Mobile journalist Francis Rivera with this report.
Heads up RC crawlers! Dito sa Pasig, may libreng RC trail na para sa paborito nating hobby.
RC crawler enthusiasts are flocking to a newly designated area at Maybunga Rainforest Park in Pasig City, giving the community a safe and dedicated space to enjoy their hobby. Covering more than 1,000 square meters, the course features a full-scale trail designed for remote-controlled crawler vehicles. With rocky paths, water obstacles, and challenging terrain, the park offers an exciting off-road experience for RC crawler hobbyists. City officials says the facility was created to provide the RC crawler community with a legal and purpose-built venue.
Merong RC community yung Pasig, pero wala talaga silang lugar kung saan sila maglalaro. May pagkakataon sa isang private development dito sa Pasig ay parang pinaalis yung mga RC enthusiasts. So, syempre, tayo bilang nasa turismo, medyo masakit sa atin yung gano'n na wala namang ginagawang mali, pinataboy natin. Kasi hindi lang pala siya basta community. Talagang pamilya tong pinasok namin.
The Pasig City government also aims to keep these open spaces free and accessible while ensuring the safety of RC crawler enthusiasts and other visitors at the Rainforest Park.
Kung hindi pa talaga perfectly made, ang daming mas magaganda sa amin. Pero ang importante sa amin, libre ito at ginawa ito mismo ng RC community. Walang gastos ang gobyerno kahit piso. Ito, secured, maayos, maliwalas, presko, maluwag. na area para sa kanila.
Members of the RC Crawler community take part in building and upkeeping the course to keep it challenging for everyone. They say the new venue has given them a permanent space where they can enjoy their hobby without fearing they will be asked to leave.
Naghahanap kami ng pwede namin paglaruan na yung libre. Usually nakita namin yun sa isang private na lugar. Nga lang, kasi ayun yung challenges. Pagka nakita kami ng guard, marami, nilalapitan kami, pinaalis kami. Tapos, ang masakit doon is wala naman kami ginagawa masama.
Bago ka kasi makakita ng ganitong trail, lalayo ka pa, pupunta ka pa ng Rizal, ng Cavite. Laking tuwa namin dahil hindi na kami dumadayo kung saan-saan. Pero dito, ito ka na lang, sakay ka lang ng tricycle, magbike ka lang, magmotor ka lang, may lalaruan ka na.
Visitors are reminded that smoking, vaping, and carrying deadly weapons are strictly prohibited inside the facility. The RC Park at Maybunga Rainforest Park is open daily from 6 a.m. to 9 p.m. with free admission for all visitors.
Kahit anong edad natin, basta tayo ay gustong maglibang dito using our RC, mga crawlers natin. Even yung mga non-Pasigueño, welcome po tayo dito. Meron na tayong bahay, meron na tayong tahanan mula ngayon habang buhay.
Kapatid, mobile journalist Francis Rivera, we are One News.
Time to take a quick break. As we do so, we bring you global headlines from the Associated Press. Stay tuned.
This is AP News Minute. Immigration rights groups say the man shot and killed by ICE officers in Maine was a 26-year-old from Colombia. The Homeland Security Department says an agent fired when a vehicle tried to flee a location that officers were watching. Maine Senator Angus King said the DHS secretary told him the man who was shot was not who agents were looking for. The United States launched new airstrikes on Iran early Tuesday. Iran launched attacks targeting Bahrain, Jordan, and 2 tankers associated with the UAE. President Donald Trump said the U.S. is reinstating a blockade of Iran. Houthi rebels in Yemen blamed Saudi Arabia for an airstrike on an airport. The Houthis said they fired missiles and drones at a Saudi airport in response. Senator Lindsey Graham's sister, Darlene Graham Nordone, has been named to temporarily replace him in the Senate. Graham died unexpectedly on Saturday night.